Now let's continue our conversation about alleged Chinese election interference with pollster Nick Nanos, the founder and chief data scientist of Nanos Research. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Joyce.
Very good to have you on the show. Now, you know, this is an interesting conversation that we've been having. We've had two guests here who told us, look, this is not new. We have been seeing this for a decade at least. So, but your new numbers, and that's what's interesting, show, and I think we have boards here, that 71% of those polled view alleged Chinese interference as a threat, and here it is, to Canada's democracy. So, given previous incidents, I'm thinking about the Chinese balloon that flew up for a week. I'm thinking maybe TikTok, we're not sure about that, and now allegations of Chinese interference. Is this issue gaining steam in Canada?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's basically on the radar for a significant majority of Canadians. You know, the fact of the matter is that 2%, Joyce, don't think it's a threat at all. You know, and another 23% think that it's a minor threat. So the reality is, you know, 9 out of every 10 Canadians think that the alleged Chinese interference is some sort of threat to Canadian democracy. And, you know, so it's on the radar. People are worried, and they're probably wondering what we're doing about the future.
Okay, so are they, you know, now that it is in, as you say, in the spotlight, are Canadians confident in Canada's ability, or in the government's ability and the agency's ability to protect them?
Well, the long answer is nope. How's that? No, in the survey that, you know, we asked Canadians about our ability to protect elections from foreign interference, and you can see only about 1 out of every 5 Canadians would rate our ability as very good or good. You know what, Joyce? If our kids came home with that report card, we'd send them back and we'd be worried about things. So the fact of the matter is that right now there's not a lot of confidence in our ability to protect ourselves from foreign interference. And you know, it's one of the things where what Canadians are probably wondering is what are we doing? What should we be doing? And that, you know, right now, it's about China, and this is really heating up. You know, the Canada-China binational relationship has been under stress for a number of years,
yes,
with the detention of the Michaels, with the Huawei executive, all that kind of stuff, and now it's really coming to a head with these allegations of election interference.
So, you know, given the high number of concern, what is it, 80% of Canadians are concerned or somewhat concerned, yep, we're in a minority government. Do you think that something like this could turn into a ballot box issue? Well,
it could turn into a ballot box issue if it's discovered that we're incompetent at defending ourselves from foreign interference, or that things were not done, because, you know, a significant number of Canadians are concerned about this issue. But you know what, Joyce? It's kind of like a balancing act. You know, Canadians are worried about paying for the rent and the mortgage. They're obviously worried about this particular issue, and I think it could be a risk for the Liberals if we find out that they've been mismanaging or not doing everything that they could do in order to protect the integrity of the electoral process in Canada.
Are they, did you ask, or are they telling you that they believe the election was fair and square?
No,
the last 2 elections?
We didn't ask that particular question, but you know, one of the other questions that we asked had to do with consumer behavior, and I think this had to do with asking Canadians whether they are buying more, the same, or fewer Chinese-made goods compared to 5 years ago. And you know what? If I was in the Chinese government, I would worry about this particular stat, because it's a killer stat. 2 out of every 3 Canadians are reporting that they're purchasing fewer Chinese goods. Do you know what, Joyce? I don't think the Chinese government is worried about what I'll say, the yammerings of elected officials, right? Canadians not purchasing Chinese goods is a material threat to the well-being of China, especially if other countries start to do that, or if some sort of boycott starts to take steam, because that impacts the bottom line in the economy in China.
Okay, I want to go quickly. I know we don't have any more time, but I want to go to your seat. Okay, so you looked at, I'm trying to look at it now. Speaking of elections, so your latest seat projections show a widening lead for Tories with 112 seats in the House ahead of a projected 96 for the Liberals, you know, who would be down 22. 77 ridings are too close to call. In a few seconds, talk to us about these last stats.
Well, what we're seeing is that the structure of the Conservative vote is getting better at generating seats. And the other thing is there are provinces like Ontario which is now a problem for the Liberals, BC, which is in play, and now the Bloc potentially on the upswing in Quebec. It's like everything's unwinding for the Liberals. They have to stop this. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the budget to try to stem the tide right now.
And what they do about the Chinese interference as well, because people are waiting, and the House is back next week. So I imagine some of the questions will be on that.
Hot seat, Joyce,
Yeah,
hot seat.
Exactly.